I posted a reel for 100 days, and during this time, I was able to grow my online audience to over 200,000 followers, and I was able to do this while starting and scaling a content creation agency to over 6 figures a year. And even though building that business required a lot of my time and attention, I was able to stay consistent with my content because of this one concept that you may have heard of before: batch creating. And before you click away because you think you already know how to batch create, I'd like to ask you to hear me out first, because I did a bunch of research online to see what other creators were saying about batch creating. And all the content I saw was quite broad and didn't provide any actionable advice. So personally, I've decided to go in a complete opposite direction and take one of my videos from my paid online community and upload it here to YouTube. So this video has been designed to provide actionable advice that you can start applying straight away, and by the end of this training, you'll not only understand the foundations to batch creating, but you'll also have free resources to help you identify gaps in your schedule that you can use for batch creating. And you'll also have the exact resources I use to come up with content ideas that have helped me gain millions of views. And this is only part 1 of a 2-part series that dives deep into batch creating. So if you enjoyed this video and you want to unlock the other part, you can click the top link in my description below to join my private consistent creator community. In this training, I'll also be sharing some of my go-to strategies to find viral content ideas. But firstly, what is batch creating? And basically, this is when you work on one step of the creation process at a time, rather than one piece of content at a time. So for example, every week I dedicate 2 to 4 hours to script as many short form videos as possible. Once I have about 10 to 20 scripts ready, I then spend 2 to 3 hours shooting all the scripts in one shooting session. So instead of working on one video from start to finish, I'm batching each task together. So think of it like washing your clothes. You don't wash your dirty clothes one item at a time. Instead, you gather all your dirty clothes together and then wash them in one load. And creating in this way prevents your brain from having to switch modes of thinking, which helps with your productivity and will also help you create higher quality content. Batch creating also allows you to better plan and schedule out your content. So for example, if you get sick or have to travel for work, you'll always have a batch of pre-made content ready for shoot or ready for post. So if we take a look at my content planner, you can see that at any given time, I have around 20 to 30 videos being worked on. So now that we know batch creating is one of the key pillars of my content creation workflow, let's dive into how you can start doing the same. So firstly, you need to get clear on your schedule, because I get it, people are busy and people have other commitments like work and family. So you need to identify the different gaps in your week where you have some free time to batch create some content. So personally for me, I usually dedicate 2 to 3 hours on a Tuesday morning to script my videos. And then I'll spend 2 to 3 hours on a Thursday morning to shoot all of my content. And personally for me, I'm the most focused and creative in the mornings before anyone else is awake. But for you, this could be late at night or in the middle of the day. Whatever that time is, I highly recommend putting your phone in another room and really maximizing this focus time. Another tool that helps me really focus is Brain.fm, which is a music streaming platform that plays science-backed music designed to help you focus. And I have left a link in the description below if you're interested in checking them out. But now, to help you start identifying your free time, I put together a simple template that you can use to start documenting your week. So basically, all you need to do is fill this table out for 1 week with all the different tasks that you're doing, and hopefully by the end of the week, you'll start to see some gaps where you can fit in your batch creation times. And my recommendation is to allocate 4 different time blocks throughout your schedule for each part of the content creation process. So an ideal schedule to start with would be 30 minutes for ideation, 2 hours for scripting, 1 hour for creating, and 3 to 4 hours for editing. But again, depending on your schedule, this can be adjusted. But now secondly, once you've figured out your schedule and your batch creating times, I want you to start small. Because a lot of creators make the mistake of seeing someone like me, who has been creating content for over 6 years, talk about batch creating a whole month's worth of content. So then they try to do the same, but then they fail because they haven't built up the skill to do this. So instead, I recommend starting out with batch creating 1 week's worth of content for one platform and then building up over time. So for example, if your goal is to post daily on Instagram, this could be something like 5 reels and 2 carousels. So reminder, don't make the mistake of trying to copy my workflow, because unless you have experience with this, you're setting yourself up for failure. But now, with those batch creating foundations out of the way, let's cover how I batch create each part of the content creation process. So firstly, ideation. And arguably, this is the most important part of the creation process, because it won't matter how well shot or edited your videos are. If your idea sucks, then your content will suck. And even though I mentioned earlier that you should dedicate at least 30 minutes a week to ideation, these days the most amount of my time is spent on coming up with great ideas. But again, we're in totally different stages of our creator journey. So for you now, it's a lot more important to develop your content creation habit rather than coming up with these amazing ideas. And that's why I recommend 30 minutes of dedicated ideation time. With that said, coming up with ideas is a continuous thing that never really turns off, because there's probably been times when a great idea has come to you while you're having a shower or while you're exercising. So a habit I want you to build is to capture any idea that comes to you throughout the week. And personally, my favorite way to do this is by setting up a widget on my iPhone that allows me to quickly capture any idea straight into my consistent creator dashboard. And the consistent creator dashboard is the exact content system I use to gain over 300,000 followers in less than 7 months. And I have a full video about it which you can check out above. So to set this up on an iPhone, tap and hold until you see your apps wiggle. From here, click the plus icon and then type in Notion in the search bar and then select this first widget. From here, click on the new widget and then click on page and then search for quick capture. Now from here, when you click on this quick capture widget, it will take you directly to the quick capture page, making it super easy and fast to jot down any ideas that come to you. But now for the dedicated 30 minutes of ideation time, this is where you want to scour the internet and see if you can find any inspiration that you can then package into an idea. So some of my favorite places to find ideas are firstly, community hacking. So regardless of your niche, there's an online community for it. So go to community platforms like school or Facebook groups and join a bunch related to the content you want to create. Next, go through the posts and look for common questions from members. You then want to use these questions to create content that provides answers. And I use this exact method to get the idea for this video, which is currently sitting at 1.2 million views. Secondly is curated newsletters. So personally, this is one of my favorite ways to get content ideas, because once you signed up for the free newsletters, the ideas are sent directly to your email inbox, so I don't even have to go out and search for them. So personally, I like to find newsletters that report on trends, news, and updates within my niche. And subscribing to these newsletters don't only allow me to stay up to date with what is going on within my niche, but it also helps me with writing trends. And some of my go-to newsletters for this are Morning Brew, The Published Press, Social Media Today, and Josh Spector's for the interested. But again, these recommendations are related to my niche, so depending on what type of content you're creating, go out and find the curated newsletters within your space. But thirdly is competitors' comments. So here you want to find other creators in your niche on social media, and then you want to go through their comments of their posts. So you want to look for content suggestions or questions their followers are asking for. This method can also be used to dive deeper into specific topics that maybe your competitors didn't cover in their content. Next is YouTube, because unlike other social media platforms, YouTube is a search engine, and most people use it to solve a specific problem. YouTube also makes it easy to sort content from most viewed to least viewed. This makes it super simple to find ideas that have been proven to draw attention. So for example, you can go on YouTube and type in your niche tips. Secondly, look at the top videos that come up and click on the creator's channel. You then want to filter their videos by most popular. And just like that, you have a list of proven video ideas that have gained a lot of attention. And to go a layer deeper, some videos will also show the most replayed section of a video. This gives you even more data to work with. Another resource I love to use is Quora.com. And basically, Quora is a question and answer platform that allows people to ask questions, provide answers, and engage in discussions on a wide range of topics. And how I like to use it is by searching for my niche in the search bar. So for example, content creation. And then from here, you can filter your search by questions. And now you'll see a bunch of questions your target audience is asking. So I'd usually spend 15 to 20 minutes going through these different threads and look for any specific questions I can answer. And I also look for the different type of language my target audience is using so that I can incorporate that into my content. Another similar site is Reddit. And basically you can do the same thing here by searching for your niche, and then you can go through these different threads to find questions and language your target audience is using. So now from here, you should have a bunch of different content ideas inside of the consistent creator dashboard. And personally for me, I like to separate my idea generation and my scripting times, because personally for me, it helps me better focus on each pillar of the creation process. And something that has helped me a lot when it comes to scripting videos is by first doing a brain dump of all the things I want to talk about in the script. So here I can add things like the different tips I want to share, or any links and resources I want to refer to, and etc. And in my consistent creator dashboard, I have this template that includes a dedicated area for this with a few different prompts to help get the creative juices flowing. And then after this brain dump, I usually go for a walk, and then I'll come back and start the scripting process. And this workflow has been a game changer for me because it allows me to avoid staring at a blank page when sitting down to write. And I personally script out all of my tutorial styled content word for word. Then when it's time to film, I read them off a teleprompter. And I prefer doing it like this because it helps me stay concise in my videos and allows me to streamline the filming and editing process. Also, scripting like this gives me a library of text I can then repurpose into newsletters or tweets. However, I know many creators who like to use dot points or just wing it when recording, which is totally fine because at the end of the day, there's no right or wrong way to do this. And it's all about finding out what works best for you. With that being said, whether you decide to script your content like me or wing it, I recommend following my hack framework when scripting. So this is a 3-part framework I use for all of my short form content, and it consists of the hook, actionable tip, and a call to action. And the hook is the most important part of your scripts. It's what you say in the first 1 to 3 seconds of your video to grab your viewers' attention. And as we all know, people's attention spans are getting shorter and shorter, so we need to use creative hooks to stop them from scrolling ahead. And some of my favorite hooks that I use in my content are the question hook, the negative hook, the controversial hook, the pain hook, and the no BS hook. And when scripting out your hooks, you want to make sure you're keeping them as clear and concise as possible. And below this video, I've included a database of my top 30 proven hooks, so definitely check them out. But moving on is the actionable section of our scripts. And this is where we want to deliver as much actionable advice as possible. And this is where a lot of creators go wrong, because most people provide advice in their content, but the advice they share is not very actionable. So for example, if you're a fitness coach and you're creating content to help people build muscle, an example of advice would be eat protein and go to the gym to build muscle. Whereas actionable advice would be something like eat 1.5 grams of protein per kilogram of your body weight daily, and do weight training 5 times a week following a push-pull legs workout routine. So can you see how much more valuable and tactical the second version of advice is? And well, this is what makes your content stand out from the crowd. But with that being said, with short form content, we only have about a minute to deliver our message. So think of your videos as an introduction. So yes, always provide actionable advice, but your viewers should feel the need to consume more of your content to get the full picture. A mistake I made when I first started was trying to fit too much information into one short video. And this overload led to my viewers feeling confused, which then caused my video watch times to completely tank. And for that reason, that's why I created my monthly scripting guides, which are fill in the blank scripting templates that I send out every month to my community members to help them write scripts that are still extremely valuable, but that don't confuse their viewers. But now, the final pillar of the hack framework is the call to action. So our CTA should be clear, simple, and guide our viewers to take a single action. So for example, if my video is about the biggest mistakes new photographers make when buying a camera, the call to action could be something like, but now that was only one of the many mistakes photographers make when buying a new camera. And I just released a free training covering the 6 other mistakes to avoid. And if you want to check that out, you can click the link in my bio. A common mistake I see is creators asking their viewers to do multiple things. So for example, you've probably seen YouTubers asking you to like their video, leave a comment about the best tip you learned, and not to forget to subscribe to their channel. And this is a massive mistake because the more choices you give your viewers, the less likely they'll take any action. So when you're planning out your videos, decide what action you want your viewers to take and commit to it. But now that's an overview of the hack framework, and by following this scripting template, every time you sit down to create some content, it will help streamline your workflow since you're not needing to reinvent the wheel every single time. And inside of my consistent creator dashboard, I do have a hack template that you can use, which lays out everything you need. need. So an area to brain dump and refine your idea, an area to paste any links or references you want to include in your content, and a bunch of different resources like my go-to hooks and checklists to follow when publishing and repurposing your content. And again, if you want a copy of this content system for yourself, I've left a link in the description below. But now, once you've scripted out your content, you now want to edit it. And a big mistake I made when I first started to script videos was trying to edit my scripts as I wrote them. So for example, if I wrote down the first tip in a 3-tip video, I wouldn't move on to the second tip until that first one was perfect. But the more experience I got, the more I realized the best way to script your videos is to first draft out all of your ideas, then refine and edit it later. So basically, the scripting process should look something like this. So step 1, create a first draft of all of your thoughts. This will leave you with a rough skeleton of your video. Step 2, go back and refine your script by applying the hack framework. And then step 3, correct any grammar or spelling mistakes and ensure everything flows well. And a pro tip when editing your scripts is to aim for a grade 6 readability or lower. This is important because most creators make the mistake of using complex words in their videos because they want to sound super smart, when in reality, complexity just leads to confusion for your viewers. So when it comes to script editing, I recommend using the following websites: the Pro Writing Aid and the Hemingway app. These tools have free plans and they will help you correct any grammar mistakes and keep your scripts clear and concise. Another great option to refine your scripts is by using ChatGPT. And to do this, just copy and paste your video script and ChatGPT will get to work. And below this video, I've left the exact prompt for you to use. Now, another key point to remember when creating short form content is to keep your video length as short as possible. So personally, I try to limit my educational reels to a maximum of 40 to 50 seconds. And to ensure I'm staying within this time frame, I'll time myself with my phone when reading out my scripts. But there we have it. That is part 1 of the batch creating series complete. And in the next video, I'll be covering how to batch record and edit your content like a pro. So if you want to check those out, you can click the top link in the description below to check out my private consistent creator community. And also, if you want to take a behind the scenes look at the exact content system I use to grow my online audience to over 300,000 followers in 7 months, check out this video here. I'll see you there.